Yo, yo. Y'all see the title. How to land your first internship as a CS major. Now, I'm going to be honest. This is arguably the most important thing you can do in college. So let's just jump right in. First off, why are internships important? Well, it boils down to three main reasons. Reason number one, it fills out your resume, it shows that you're employable, and it shows that on paper you have experience. Reason number two, it actually gives you experience. You actually get to be a software engineer and do real work, presumably for the first time in your college career, and you get to learn. Reason number three, it gets your foot in the door somewhere. It gives you a network. It gives you the opportunity to get a return offer to get a full-time job after you graduate, or even an offer for next summer if you're still in college. And if you don't get the return offer, it makes it easier to apply to this company because you've already worked there before. So if later down the line a position opens up, you can apply to it and you can say, oh yeah, I stand out from other applicants because I was an intern here. I love the culture, I love that, whatever. Now that we know why it's important, how do we actually get our first internship? Well, for starters, you need to be applying like crazy. When people tell you you're supposed to experiment in college, this is what they're referring to. Any job, any tech-related job is better than no job. Even if it's an IT internship, if that's all you can get, that's fine. Any experience is better than no experience. Now, this changes based on how far you are into your college career, right? Obviously, if you're a senior, you don't want your only college internship to be an IT internship if that's not what you're going for. Try to get those, software, computer science roles. But if you're a freshman, just get a job. Get as much experience as you can. Apply to any job that you can and see what you get and just take the best offer. Because I guarantee you, that IT internship in your freshman year is going to make it easier to land the software engineering internship in your sophomore year. And it's going to be even easier to land the FANG internship in your junior year. It's all about leveraging your past experience. So when you're trying to get that foot in the door, beggars can't be choosers. Take what you can get and leverage it. But again, if you're a senior, you want to be a little more specific because this is probably going to be your only internship. And it'll be a little harder to transition the longer you wait. But again, any experience is better than no experience. Now, I'm going to throw a secret little application trick at you that you probably haven't heard. This actually helped me get my first internship. You ready? It's not as hard as you think to relocate for the summer. What do I mean by that? Now, everyone's situation's different. I understand that completely. Not everyone has the means to relocate. They're needed at home. They can't afford it. I get it. But if the only thing holding you back from relocating is you just think it's outrageously expensive, I'm here to tell you it's not as bad as you think. Colleges literally all around the country will rent out their dorms to other college students in the summer for internships, right? And they do this at such a cheap price because there's no one staying in the dorms in the summer. They're just going to waste. So in my instance, I was able to relocate to a different state for the whole summer, 3 months, for about $1,100. Now, $1,100 isn't cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than I always thought it would cost to relocate. And I was able to offset that by getting an internship, by landing a job in this area. And this isn't something you have to set up with the company at all. Just let them know that you're planning on relocating. They might offer you a relocation bonus, but if not, if you can just save up a little bit of money to afford that initial investment into relocating, now you have an internship. So not something that everyone can use, but definitely something to keep in mind, and definitely something I would recommend because it gives you way more places to apply to and just expands and increases the likelihood of you getting in your first internship. My next piece of advice for landing your first internship is going to every single career fair at your college and nearby colleges. And I'll be honest, a lot of the times these are jokes. You show up, they give you some decorative company merch, a notebook, a hat, whatever. But when you're hungry, when you want to be large, it doesn't matter. I want to see you at every career fair, suited up, stack of resumes in hand, ready to be large, ready to dominate. I have friends who went to career fairs and were basically just handed interviews. They rocked the interviews, received offers from Fortune 500 companies just for showing up. Now, of course, my friends are large, but it doesn't matter. They were there. They were available. They showed up. It doesn't get easier than that. Now, the last thing I'm going to recommend is kind of obvious. It's cracking out your resume. I'm going to assume you have no experience whatsoever, and that's fine. It's expected. But you need to get something on your resume. You need to get that experience. Join a club, start a club, win a hackathon, start a startup, build cool side projects, become a student researcher for your college, become a TA. Find zero experience positions like Microsoft or Capital One where they have programs specifically for zero experience college students. Do whatever. Just get stuff on your resume. Get that experience. If you can't find a path, make one. If you can't find experience, make experience. And don't be afraid to take an extra semester. If you can land a winter or even a spring internship by delaying some of your classes, do it. I'm telling you, the experience is more important than anything. And after you land that first internship, everything gets easier. The next internship is easier. The full-time job search gets easier. Everything. But you need to get your foot in the door. I'm going to make a separate video on interview prep, but in short, be ready to talk about your projects or do leak codes. My first internship, the interview had 0 DSA questions. They only cared about my personal projects and what I was learning in school. That was it. Other interviews I've done have been strictly leak code. You just need to be ready for both. And if you can, practice your interview beforehand. Practice talking about your resume. I guarantee your college has a career advising office that does these sort of events. Whether it's resume reviews, whether it's prep interviews, doesn't matter. And if they don't, there's your perfect opportunity to start something and put it on your resume. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Thanks for watching. Stay large.